Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopinatha, Radha Gopinatha, Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinatha, Radha Gopinatha, Sri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadrama. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtattar Sat His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Mahārāja Pṛthu Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So today we are going to study from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 22nd chapter, text number 52. If you have phone, please repeat after me. Griheshu Vartamanopi Sa Samrajya Shriyanvitaha Nasajjatendriyarthesu Niraham Matir Arkavat Grihesu Vartamanopi Sasamrajya Shriyanvitaha Nasajjatendriyarthesu Niraham Matir Arkavat Grihesu Vartamanopi Sasamrajya Shriyanvitaha Nasajjatendriyarthesu Niraham Matir Arkavat Grihesu Vartamanopi Sasamrajya Shriyanvitaha Nasajjatendriyarthesu Nirahamatir arkavat. Prabhuji's. Yesu vartamanopi sasamrajya sriyanvitaha sajatendriyarthesu nirahamatir arkavat. Mataji's. Grihesu bhartamanopi sasamrajya sriyanvitaha asajjatendriyateshu nirahamati arkavat. Grihesu bhartamanopi sasamrajya sriyanvitaha asajjatendriyateshu nirahamatirakvat. Word to word translation. Please repeat after me. Grihesu, at home. Vartamanaha, being present. After although. Saha, King Pṛthu. Samrajya, the entire empire. Shriya, opulence. Anvitaha, being absorbed in. Na, never. Asajjata, became attracted. Indriya arthesu, for sense gratification. Nihi, nor. Aham, I am. Matihi, consideration. Arka, the sun. What, like. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Mahārāja Pṛthu, who was very opulent due to the prosperity of his entire empire, remained at home as a householder. Since he was never inclined to utilize his opulences for the gratification of his senses, he remained unattached, exactly like the sun, which is unaffected in all circumstances. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Grihesu is significant in this verse. Out of the 4 ashramas, the Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa, only a Grihastha or householder is allowed to associate with women. Therefore, the Grihastha ashrama is a kind of license for sense gratification given to the devotee. Pṛthu Maharaj was special in that although he was given license to remain a householder, and although he possessed immense opulences in his kingdom, he never engaged in sense gratification. This was a special sign that indicated him to be a pure devotee of the Lord. A pure devotee is never attracted by sense gratification, and consequently he is liberated. In material life, a person engages in sense gratification for his own personal satisfaction, but in the devotional or liberated life, one aims to satisfy the senses of the Lord. In this verse, Mahārāja Pṛthu is likened to the sun or kavat. Sometimes the sun shines on stool, urine, and so many other polluted things. But since the sun is all-powerful, it is never affected by the polluted things with which it associates. On the contrary, the sunshine sterilizes and purifies polluted and dirty places. Similarly, a devotee may engage in so many material activities, but because he has no desire for sense gratification, they never affect him. On the contrary, he dovetails all material activities for the service of the Lord. Since a pure devotee knows how to utilize everything for the service of the Lord, he is never affected by material activities. Instead, by his transcendental plans, he purifies such activities. This is described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. His aim is to become completely purified in the service of the Lord without being affected by material designations. I will quickly repeat the translation. Mahārāja Pṛthu, who was very opulent due to the prosperity of entire empire, remained at home as a householder. Since he was never inclined to utilize his opulences for the gratification of his senses, he remained unattached, exactly like the sun, which is unaffected in all circumstances. Thank you very much for being here for Srimad Bhagavatam class, and I'm really grateful to be given the position of a speaker on the Vyasasana, and just to glorify Srila Prabhupada, pure devotees, and the dear Lordship Sri Sri Radha Gopinath. And we have just finished our festival times, long awaited Radha Ashtami, Janmashtami, and Balaram Jayanti as well. So these festivals, they are very important in our spiritual journey. Actually, they give a pat on us, on our faith that we have, and on our inclination towards the devotional service. They preserve our consciousness, and they give us more confidence that, I'm doing the right thing. So, generally, festival, by the name itself, festive, we consider it to be, very enjoyable and very gratifying to our senses. Actually, sense gratification sounds a bit bad, but when it is done, when we feel sense gratification after serving to Radha Gopinath, that sense gratification is pure sense gratification. So, I was amazed seeing the enthusiasm of the devotees in these festival times. Many new devotees also came, and many devotees engaged in volunteering to help these festivals to become successful and successfully serve Radha Gopinath in the best way possible. Definitely the best increases every time. because Krishna is always expanding. So we will do it better next time. But yeah, many new people, many new devotees, and they were also serving in many ways. Yeah, in Srila Prabhupada and their Lordship should be very happy. So taking this consciousness, this mood of serving, and taking the enthusiasm that we got from the festivals, may we be able to use this enthusiasm to serve more and more and better throughout the year until the festival time comes again. So I will try to speak on the purport of Srila Prabhupada and try to clarify their Lordships. I will repeat the translation again. Mahārāja Pṛthu, who was very opulent due to the prosperity of his entire empire, remained at home as a householder. Since he was never inclined to utilize his opulence for the gratification of his senses, he remained unattached, exactly like the sun, which is unaffected in all circumstances. So, since Mahārāja Pṛthu was emperor, at that time he was very prosperous, and not only him, his entire kingdom, his subjects, citizens, they were also very prosperous and very happy. Mother Earth was very happy at that time. She used to produce lots of foodstuffs, grains, and rainfall used to be very timely. Unlike now, we need to suffer winter rain and during the day. So it is said in the Vedic times there used to be rainfall only at night and just sufficient to cultivate the vegetation and for the living entities to maintain their life. So those were the glories of Pṛthu Maharaj. But even though he had such great prosperity, he was never inclined to utilize his opulences for sense gratification. This is very important verse, I think, more because of Prabhupada's giving purport, explaining about our tendency for sense gratification. And he also has given us how we use or utilize our resources in the service of the Lord, at the same time living a materially also very peaceful life, not just spiritually. Because here Prabhupada mentioned one verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sarvapadi binirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. So this verse goes like, Sarvapadi binirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchyate. So to serve the Lord, the devotee, he engages all his or her service in the service of the Lord, who is the master of all senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. one is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So, Prabhupada, definitely this verse is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It is Rupa Goswami, but Prabhupada, with translation and purport, he explains how our senses will be purified. So, basically, with purified senses, Lord is to be supposed to be worshipped, and so much devotion, so much faith. But we don't have that. I don't have that. I am all contaminated. I don't have any glories. I don't have any mood to serve. So, what is the hope for me? But Prabhupada here says, simply by engaging one's senses in the service of the Lord, it is a reversible thing, vice versa, we say vice versa, it goes one way and it goes other way as well. One's senses should be purified to be engaged in the service of the Lord. At the same time, when we engage in the service of the Lord mercifully purifies our senses as well. So, in this matter, Prabhupada, I was reading Krishna book, just preparing for this class, in very short period, and I was thinking how Krishna purified the devotees with the contaminations. And I looked through, in the sections, in the contents, and I saw the chapter where Krishna visits his devotees, and mercifully showers mercy. And seeing the chapter, I just opened and saw the first example was of Kubja. So, in that pastime, Kubja was a society girl, society woman, and she serves the Lord offering the sandalwood pulp. And Lord becomes very pleased. So, she had lusty desires toward the Lord, and even those desires were purified by the Lord just being pleased by the service of Kubja. Like that. So we have so many impurities, so many faults in us, but at once, when we, even with those impure mindsets, trying to please Lord, using our senses in the service of the Lord, slowly we get purified, and then we come to the stage of pure devotional service after they are purified. So, let's go to word by word in the purport. The word Grihesu is significant in this verse. Out of 4 ashramas, Grihastha is allowed to associate with women. Therefore, it is kind of license for such gratification given to the devotee. So, in Kali Yuga, no matter which ashram in which ashram we are, actually most of us are only in the Grihastha ashram, and it's not that some ashramas are better and some are not, but the context is Grihastha ashram sounds more natural as well, becomes natural. If one doesn't choose any ashram, then naturally he becomes in the position of being a Grihastha ashram. So it is said that, because one is allowed to associate with women, basically that is considered to be the topmost sense gratification in the material world. So Prabhupada says is kind of a license for sense gratification to the devotees. Actually, Prabhupada, going back to that past time, when he talked about the dealings of Kubja with Lord Krishna, Prabhupada was saying, even though she was lusty in the spiritual world, there is no sexual activities that that happens, like it doesn't take place at all. There embracing, kissing, to that extent it can happen. More than that, there is nothing in the spiritual world. It doesn't exist. Prabhupada says only in the contaminated material world it exists, and that is so. Like basically, that is the way, that is just expression of love of the Lord towards His devotees. So yeah, basically we may when we hear about Lord's pastime, we have tendency to think of those things. He is also enjoying the material things that we have tendency to. Prabhupada especially hammers at Sahajiyas, acting on the platform of, not platform of the Krishna, but acting like they are in the platform of Krishna. So, and coming back to the householder life, talking about householder life. So, sense gratification is licensed there, but he says the indication of pure devotee, there is special signs that they are not attached or attracted by sense gratification, and thus they are liberated. They are the liberated souls. In material life, a person engages in sense gratification for his own personal satisfaction, but in devotional or liberated life, one aims to satisfy the senses of the Lord. So, devotional life starts after self-realization. Whoever is engaged in the service of the Lord, they are self-realized souls. Because devotional service, there can be different types of devotional service, like mixed devotional service or pure devotional service. But still, devotional service is so pure that even if we are performing, like let's say charity, activities of charity, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj was saying charity can be the most unpredictable mixed devotional service. Because one can desire, okay, Gopinath, I will offer you $1,000. Please help me to find the job where I can earn 10,000, something like that. So it is mentioned like that. The charity, it can be pure mixed devotional service, but devotional service itself is so pure that each devotional service is actually pure only. Like devotional service means actually pure only, because it is performed, right? Like it's not performed for ourselves; it is performed for others' pleasure, right? At least for the Lord. So, since it is for the pleasure of the Lord, it is pure by the offering is pure, at least, even though our consciousness is not or may not be. So that is the glory of devotional service. It is pure at all times, and it is said devotional service is so glorious. Like Krishna, when in Bhagavad Gita, when he talks to Arjuna, when Arjuna says that I cannot fight, I feel very weak. I need to kill my own grandfather, my own gurus, and my own relatives. So, I would rather become a mendicant, and I would rather start. What do we say? begging. I would rather live a life of a beggar rather than killing them, winning the kingdom and enjoying the kingly opulences. He says, Bhunjiya Bhogan Rudira Pradigdhan. So, whatever happiness I will achieve after that will all be tainted with blood. So, I cannot do this like that when Arjuna says that. And after that, he says to Krishna, after he says all this, and Krishna had already actually chastised before that, why are you showing this, such a characteristic, such a emotion that is not, befitting an Aryan. This will just, lead to hell, something like that. Like that he was saying, and Arjuna after that only says all these things, and then now he feels, very obliged to Krishna, and now he says, Karpanya dosu pahat svabhava. How do you continue? Prichhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha yatsreyasan nishchitam bruhitan me sishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. He says, as I am completely bewildered and I have so much impurities, so now I take shelter of you. Now you are my spiritual master, you are my master. Please guide me, because I am completely bewildered. I cannot see anything. So after that, Krishna starts, talking about the position of the soul, position of Arjuna, and so in that, on 40th verse, 2nd chapter, 40th verse, he says, Niha vikramanasa asti pratyabhayona vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So he says, after saying, if you win, you will go to, if you win, you will enjoy earthly pleasures. If you lose, you will go to heaven only. And on that, since you are performing that for my pleasure, you will not commit any sin, like that Krishna says. And after that, okay, even if not that, he says now, if you follow my instruction, if you perform devotional service, like since it was direct instruction of Krishna, if Arjuna followed, it would be devotional service, right? So even if you perform little bit of this service, like even if he dies in the battlefield, and even if you become unsuccessful on performing the service, pratyabhayona vidyate, there is no loss. There is no loss. And swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even if one performs this service, even little bit, then he is liberated from the highest fear, biggest fear. What is the biggest fear in the material world? Death. Death, but not only death actually. The biggest fear is to degrade our species, to get degraded from, to get the lower species, life of a lower species than the human beings. In the human life we have the chance of performing devotional service and going back to Godhead using our intelligence and following the authorities. But in any other species of life, there is no specific special opportunity to perform devotional service, unless other external someone externally helps them to perform, like the garlands they are offered to Radha Gopinath, those flowers, those trees of flowers, they bear those flowers, they are so glorious, they are pure devotees, they have become pure devotees because they were offered by the devotees, right, to the Lord. But unless someone externally does like that, but in human life, if actually human has got that intelligence that he can realize himself to be the soul, to be a soul, because we have I was reading one purport where Prabhupada was saying, doubtfulness is the key quality of human being that helps one to be self-realized. While living life, especially when we are miserable, cry, we cry, we do, intoxication, everything, and at some point everything finishes. I cannot cry anymore, I cannot intoxicate myself anymore, and there is no other way to engage ourselves so that we feel like we are relieved. And at that point, it feels like actually I don't feel the pain inside. These are just expressions of the pain. They are just expressions, we just express, when we cry, internally we are thinking actually, am I crying really? Or, sometimes we have so many introspections. What is happening? Am I really in trouble or not? That means actually within us we are really cool. We are very calm. We are thinking, is this what I am supposed to do? Even while drinking alcohol and intoxicating ourselves, we feel like we think, hey, am I doing the right thing or not? Actually, people are thinking like that. They are completely thinking, and whatever, they just decide that intelligence is there. So through that, going through the doubt, when one has this doubt, am I actually in trouble or not? When one thinks like that, then one thinks of his existence. Am I really this body? Am I this mind? Or am I this intelligence? Actually, my spiritual life began once when one of my friend heard. He said recently only. He heard from Prabhupada actually. He didn't know Krishna consciousness. He didn't know anything. He just we used to meet outside in the park sometimes quite regularly, and sometimes we feel like showing off our good nature to others, right? Like that, when he was talking about spirituality, when we talk about spirituality, actually we feel like, I'm speaking about something very great, like that. And he was speaking to me like that. Actually, today I realized something very nice. And what is that? Actually, we are not this body, we are soul. And I had heard that before, right? Yeah, I know that, like that. And then, but he said, but have you realized that? And I said, no. But he said, there is a very nice way of, going to that platform. Just, pat on your hand and think like, do you feel like this is me? Like that, And actually, me comes from somewhere else. Like, when we say I or me, even if we try to perceive in our body, we don't feel like, this is our body actually. This is me, we don't feel. This is our body, but we don't feel like this. This is me. When we have that identity of I, it is very subtle actually. And with this, we cannot say that it to be ourselves. And even when we, then after we can go to the mind level of mind, mental level, and this is so agitating. Thinking of this, thinking of that. Am I the mind? When we observe like that, one by one, to going to this more subtle stage, we find none of them are us. I had heard from one Mayavadi, he was impersonalist, not Mayavadi, impersonalist. He was saying there were 10 devotees, 10 people, 10 people crossing a river, and they were going for long trip. Before they did not have gadgets, anything like that, take photo and know how many of them are there or who are there. They used to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. They found 10 of us are here, and then they started the journey, and then at one point they had to cross a river. They crossed the river and went to the next side, and they started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God, one guy is lost. Someone drowned on the river, or what happened? That person keep on counting, and then he said, hey, maybe you are counting wrong, I will count. And then that person again counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again 9 is there. Everyone starts crying, because we lost someone, because they had taken responsibility. And then one sadhu comes from outside, and then he says, "Why are you guys crying? What happened? What is the problem?" And he says, "One of us is lost. One of us drowned on the way on crossing the river. Here are only 9 of us. We were 10 when we came." And sadhu said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He found 10. 10 of us are here. 10 of you are here. Why are you worried? Actually, what happened was that person forgot to count himself. When we say, am I this body? Am I this mind? Am I this intelligence? Am I this ego? Actually, whatever this, mind, body, we are perceiving this, right? The one who is perceiving this is us. And we don't know the identity of that. That is the position. That's why we don't know the soul. They say, I have seen this, I have seen that, I have seen that. I have observed my mind, I have observed my intelligence. And who is I? That observed this all. Sounds more, relating, right? Very easy to relate actually. Still not very clear, who is that I, but still we can understand that I is me, the soul. And actually we can observe this all. Our intelligence, our mind, we can observe this, right? And this is how we can go to the stage understanding we are souls. But definitely that is not self-realization. Self-realization means, Prabhupada says, knowing ourselves, knowing the Lord, and understanding the relationship between the Lord and the soul. That is self-realization. When we understand our position, actually many people, many transcendentalists, they stop on the point of understanding they are souls. Oh, okay, I am soul, so I don't have to suffer. I can do anything and everything. They start concocting by themselves. They don't follow the authority. They don't follow Vedic scriptures. They don't follow words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. They start thinking, okay, I am soul, I am Sachidananda, so I don't need to do anything. They start creating their supremacy, and that is what is focused by Srila Prabhupada. He always says the tendency of the fallen souls is to rule over the material world, lord it over the material nature. That is our tendency, thinking I am the enjoyer, everything is supposed to serve me. We make many plans, and at last, our plan is to, make ourselves the enjoyer, ourselves in the position of enjoying. But devotional service is so great. Even if we perform devotional service with that mentality, it will purify us, and slowly we come to the level of pure devotional service. So in Grihastha Ashram, Prabhupada, even in the Grihastha Ashram, we can very easily perform devotional service like that, right? It is a very nice way of explaining by Srila Prabhupada. He explains very, very nicely this part, how we are purified. Actually, I had never heard of that before. If we go to the countries where Vedic civilizations are at least known and followed to some extent, they say you have to be very pure to perform devotional service. Oh, you are in temple. Did you take shower after passing a stool? Otherwise, go back home like that. If not, go back home. You eat meat, you cannot do this. You are from this caste, you cannot do this. Krishna says, Chaturvanya Maya Srishtam. Krishna made that. And Guna Karma Adi Vivagasa. So, on the basis of one's activities and qualities, 4 castes and 4 ashrama. 4 castes and 4 ashramas are, formed by Krishna. It's not like because you have some surname, you will be Brahman automatically. No. Brahmana has the qualities. Those who possess the quality of Brahmanas, they are only the Brahmanas. Like that. So, actually, if one performs devotional service, slowly they come to the platform of highest positions. Actually Vaishnava, those who perform devotional service to Lord Krishna is a Vaishnava, which is beyond all four ashramas, four varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Even a Shudra becomes Vaishnava. That is beyond Brahmana. A Vaishnava is automatically a Brahmana as well as a Vaishnava, because Vaishnava engages in the service of the Lord in whatever way the Lord desires. Not like Vaishnava just stays as Brahmana and he engages in activities of the scriptures, speaking the scriptures, detailed study of the scriptures. Not only that, whatever Lord desires, even if Lord wants the Vaishnava to fight, then he fights. Even if he wants the Vaishnava to preach, then he goes and preaches in the street. He speaks Srimad Bhagavatam, so he speaks the literatures, Vedic literatures, he explains them and convinces others to be the devotees of the Lord. And he becomes Sudra as well sometimes. He has to perform, service to the devotees. Actually, who performs menial services, they are Sudras, right? So he performs on all the levels. But he is Vaishnava because he doesn't have any of those identity. He does all those, but he is not contaminated by any of those identities. He is transcendental. So he is qualitatively equal to the Lord. So pure. So that is the glory of devotional service. One can immediately come to the highest stage from the lowest stage when one performs devotional service. Suchi hoye muchi hoye yadi Krishna tyage, muchi hoye suchi hoye yadi Krishna bhaje. Even untouchable things, abominable things, they become very pure. If or abominable person, they become very pure if they worship Krishna, if they are engaged in the service of Krishna. And even if something is very nice, very beautiful, looks very pure, it becomes impure if it is not used in the service of Krishna. So, whatever we do, whatever we wear, whatever we eat, we service to Krishna first. We offer it to Krishna first, because it becomes pure like that. Prabhupada, once he was asked, why do you, Hare Krishnas eat vegetarian? And Prabhupada said, no, we are not vegetarian. We are Krishnatarian. Whatever Krishna eats, we eat that. Only if it is offered to Krishna, we eat. Whatever Krishna accepts, we accept that only. If Krishna eats meat, we eat the same meat. But it doesn't mean you try to go and offer to Krishna. He doesn't accept it actually. We accept how we understand if Krishna accepted or not, by following the Vedic literatures. Not Krishna accepts everything, I will just go and offer to him, then eat meat. No. It doesn't accept through the basic literatures. Definitely there are some privilege given to those materially very intoxicated in the Vedas at some point, how to offer once in a year, right? Once in a year or once in a month. Once in a year, on the specific night, on Amasya, they can offer to Kali and eat meat. That is the only freedom. Actually, it's not freedom. What to say? Only excuse one is given to eat meat. But we in the modern days, people they eat regularly, so regularly, and they don't even have any distinction of what to eat and what not to eat. And actually, some of them even laugh at the vegetarians. That is devotional service. Whatever we do, if it is offered to, whatever we do, we wear, whatever we eat, If it is for the service of the Lord, then that is devotional service, and that purifies one, and that brings one to the stage of pure devotional service, and that soul is the liberated soul actually. That is how one is that is how the soul is fed. The soul is fed only through devotional service. Yeah. So I think I will just end here. Yeah, here I will just say the last thing. The sunshine on the stool and urine, it doesn't pollute the sign of the sun. But instead, the sunshine, it purifies the polluted things. Like that. Even if we are so uncontaminated, if it is offered to Krishna, we become pure. It's like that. Okay, thank you very much. So, I will end here. Any comments, question? We have few minutes. Alright. Kantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki, Nijai Gaur Premanande. All glories to decimal devotees, all glories to decimal devotees, all glories to decimal devotees, all glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.